Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Ask the Unicorn. I'm Ahura, your host this evening, and this is my stalwart companion, Kazi.
Hi, today is June 28th, 2016, and this is episode 89.
Great. This is our 89th episode, and welcome to the show. As I said, I'm Ahura, your host, and I'll answer questions of a metaphysical, spiritual, paranormal, and mystical nature. However, there are two types of questions that I do not answer, and that is whether or not someone is cheating on another person or whether or not someone is dying or when they're going to die or anything like that. Okay. If you want to ask those types of questions, you should probably deal with the person that you're asking about. Beyond that, everything is fair game as long as everyone can learn from it. For those of you that have personal things to talk about that are very, very important, I suggested you give us a call later or contact us through our website, and that's Unicorn Cove School of Metaphysics, and that is www.unicorn-cove.com. And you can also do private questions on the website or the Ask the Unicorn site, which is www.asktheunicorn.com. Or else you can give us a call at area code 207-347-5686. Now, beyond that, welcome to the show. We are here today in the sweatbox.
Yeah.
And it's very hot and very humid at the same time. And Kazi's trying to brave it. I, however, am immune to such things.
Yeah, because
now,
I don't know why.
I'd like to give a shout out to all of my friends out there, all of my friends that are in the independent film market. And they are creating wonderful entertainment for you all to watch. People like Paco Seth Roberts, Bill McLean, myself, and Alan Dillingham, just to name a few. They are in the New England area, and if you just look online on Facebook, you'll find news about the films that we are coming out with. Valkyr, which is my film, is one of the films that is coming out this year, and I've actually written it like a series, so I'm going to present it as a series, and I hope you all like it. Now, I hope you all have your questions prepared this evening, because without further ado, the unicorn is in. I'm listening. Okay, what have you got for me this evening?
We have a shout out to Tabari, Smiley, Michelle, and Lucia are on, and Shayna is on. She says hi. Hi, Shayna.
Hello, shouting all to you all out. Out shouting. Shouting out.
I'm trying really hard not to go. Don't say it.
Hello.
The song. Don't.
What song? What song? Oh, God.
You know what I'm saying. I'm trying not to do it.
Welcome to the show, everybody. I really appreciate your coming to the show this evening. We're going to try to have fun. There have been a lot of really silly things that have happened. Oh, I'd also like to give a shout out to Legacy Internet Radio, and Marcus Johnson and his crew, including Shayna.
Yeah, that
was fun last night talking on the show, and I'm very honored to have been on your show, and I hope that you'll all come to my show at some point as well. And we can all fit around my little table and, have a powwow for people to watch. Now, I want to talk a little bit about some things that I've
I have one question.
dealt with. Okay, what do you got?
We have one question so far, and it's from Julie, Julie Cordwell.
Okay.
She says, is it possible to actually see spirits or ghosts or whatever you call them and have it like they are there to protect or / watch over you?
Yes.
All the time.
Do it all the time. Yeah. They do this quite frequently. And most of the time, people find reasons to fear them. Hey, no. Little sneaky girl. Come here.
Oh, she's a good girl.
Most of the times people find reasons to fear those things that they don't understand, but we're moving fast towards a time where the spiritual imprint of those that have gone on and the actual imprint of those that have moved to a different dimension will be quite prevalent in our lives. And it's time that we got acquainted with such things. Okay. So yes, it is very, very possible, not only possible, but probable and plausible that these spiritual influences are in your life every day, and some of them to guard and protect you. Okay, now before I go further with that, I'm as you all know, I'm a big video game fanatic and also film and anime. And I just finished beating a game. It was Doom 4, and the game was really, really good. Action-wise, art-wise, it was wonderful. Music-wise, animation, and all that good stuff. The controls handled beautifully. The ending sucked. I just want to say that.
But all of the Doom endings are
no.
They just end. They just like it builds up this awesome story, and then you.
Well, I mean the ending boss.
Though, like,
the ending boss was a giant sand crab. I mean, basically, I was battling the demons of hell, and defeated them all. And then I got to the final boss, and it was just a giant crab with a bunch of guns on it. And I beat it.
Spoilers! Oh,
well, it's not a spoiler. It's been out for a long time. But I was very satisfied with the gameplay. I have to say that. Okay, I'm very, very satisfied with the gameplay, but the ending made me mad. Made me mad like Castlevania. Mask of Shadows or Lord of Shadows or whatever that was. But anyway, I just had to say that because I was very disappointed. But if you want a good fast action game, something to keep you on your toes, I'll say that about it. Oh, and I need to say something else. There's a movie that's coming out and it's called Moana, and it is Disney movie, and like Disney always does, when it comes to ethnic actors or actors of color, they always portray people as these grossly distorted caricatures, and they did that with Maui, who's the god of Hawaii. Not just Hawaii, but a Polynesian god. And I can say how I want to. They portrayed him, and he looks like a cross between a baboon and a hippopotamus. And I'm so sick of that kind of stuff, in film. And I need to appeal to all of the actors and actresses out there of color. Quit taking roles that compromise your character or compromise our character. You have absolutely no idea, and I'm actually directing this towards The Rock.
No,
I like The Rock. Don't get me wrong. I love The Rock. Okay, but I think it was a really bad decision. It was a hugely bad decision to take on the voice role of Maui in this, because they made Maui look ridiculous. And had he been Hercules or had he been some European god, they would have made him all powerfully built and slim waisted, and it's ridiculous what they did with him. And I, for one, just because of that, I'm not going to go see that movie. You all can do whatever you want to, but I'm just saying, I'm about tired. I'm really fed up with people of color being portrayed as bad guys, the sacrifice, the exoticized female that happens to get with the guy that uses her as a toy, and all of a sudden she's really powerful, and all of a sudden she becomes weak just because Chad appears on the scene. I'm kind of tired of that. I'm sick with it. I'm fed up with it. I like to create film, and I think that films should be created that are equal in representation. Another thing, I think that the actors that do take those roles don't really think about what it does to people of color to see that, to see one of our own sitting there and playing a ridiculous part, or a part that villainizes us all, because in the eyes of children and in the eyes of the public, that's how they think that we really are, and we're not. And I'm kind of tired of that. I get tired of people looking at my daughter as the Asian exotic girl. I'm sick of that, and she doesn't stand for it either. So we really need to appeal to actors and actresses. Quit taking those roles. Stop it. Let them find somebody else to take those roles, okay? Stop taking roles where you're the first one to die just because you're the black guy that had absolutely nothing to do with the whole movie, okay? They just needed a black guy to kill in the beginning of the movie, or the Asian guy that has to know more martial arts, or the Hispanic guy that has to be a hoodlum or a thief, or the black guy that has to be a hoodlum or a thief. Quit it. Stop taking those roles. You're hurting us. Okay, I just have to say that. So perhaps Hollywood and other people will start to get it once we New England filmmakers, independent filmmakers, really get the support that we deserve, and we start doing films that are equally representative of the people and their intelligence. I just had to say that, so.
They just made him look so ugly.
Yeah, I know. They made him look really bad, and it's disgusting. And no Hawaiians are really positive about that, and no Polynesians are. Of course, there's always someone that comes like, well, it's a movie, but
they're trying to underplay it and say, well, it's not about Maui, it's about Moana.
Whatever.
And so
Maui's
Moana's
there.
going to be the most, and Maui's role is just to be the comical sidekick, so he can be goofy looking.
Okay, you're talking about an actual god, okay?
Demigod.
A Polynesian god, and they're going to say he's the sidekick? Really? Okay, how about we do one of, well, I can't say because Jesus wasn't white, but let's just say, how about we make every other person of color be powerful and strong looking and attractive and all that good stuff, and then the only white person in the movie gets drawn as a fat caricature. How about we do that? Or a skinny, scrawny, little freckle-faced caricature with a big nose. How about we did something like that? And he's an actual god or deity.
What was that show we watched?
What?
The BBC.
I don't know.
Well,
well, you're talking BBC though.
Yeah, but it was funny because they portrayed Hercules.
Oh no, that wasn't.
Jason,
Jason and Argonauts. No, they didn't, because they didn't portray Jason that way. No, they didn't.
No, they portrayed Hercules.
Yeah, but even then he was still cool.
Yeah.
But so
he wasn't so hideous.
Yeah, so I just had to say something like that. Now I'll get off of that rant. Now, what is the other question that we have?
We just have a shout out. Shayna says, "Thank you, Ahura. We love you all the way from Virginia."
Thank you very much. Love you too.
I put the show on my page so you can tag yourself in it. And
cool.
She says it was such an honor.
Well, it's fun.
Rebecca is on, and she says hi to everyone.
Hi, Rebecca. How are you? Look forward to seeing you again. Listen, you all need to come to my bakery, and you need to tell your friends to come to my bakery, okay? That is Daily Bread Bakery in Standish. You should come and visit us. We have yummy things to eat, and they're all good for you, and you'll love it. So, as I said, I answer questions of a metaphysical, spiritual, paranormal, and mystical nature. That, it leaves a really wide area of questions that could be answered. My specialty, of course, is in spell breaking and psychic self-defense and psychic development. I'm kind of like Professor X, only I'm Professor Z.
Oh my God. You need a new joke.
It wasn't a joke, that's the truth.
If I had $1, I would be rich.
You would have approximately $75.
I hear it all the time.
Just to say.
You say it all the time. It's a dad joke.
It's the truth.
Dad joke. That's what that is.
Hashtag
dad joke right there.
No, not at all. It is the truth. Who do you think trained you?
Hashtag.
And you are definitely
joke.
A mutant. Just a thought. You are a mutant. Don't look funny. Just like.
Stop that. Stop that. Can I sing the song? X-Men song?
No.
Quick, isn't that awesome?
Yeah, especially your impression of Ant-Man.
I'm being, I don't know, squiddy.
Okay, so what questions do you have for me
Is there
today?
an
There must be
X-Men
something
that
that you'd all like to talk about.
Nightcrawler? No, Nightcrawler is not. I'm thinking X-Men.
No, you're more like the Flea.
I'm a lucha, the Flea.
The Flea. So I know that a lot of you are going through some things right now, but I'm telling you there's going to be some relief. Mars is finally going direct, and that's a good thing for a lot of people. So a lot of those things that you've been having trouble with, it will be all of a sudden, you'll probably feel still a little bit of the effects of Mars being retrograde for the next week or so, but after that, you'll see that the pressure will lighten up for you. So I know that you've been going through a lot of things that have pressurized you. You're going to be okay. Just hang in there, okay? You'll be fine. Now, that being said, is there any questions at all?
No.
Why? You guys are kind of quiet this evening. What's up with that?
It's hot.
It's got nothing to do with it being hot here. Not everybody's in Maine. They're all over the place. Virginia's not hot.
I'm sure it is.
No, it's not.
Shayna, is it hot where you are?
Nope, it's not hot at all.
We shall see.
It's not. How are you going to see? You're on the wrong thing.
You're not going to see.
Okay. There are a lot of really cool movies that are coming out. I think I will take a look at Superman versus Batman only because it's kind of ridiculous. Superman and Batman having a fight. Ooh, Batman against Superman, right? But I want to see how inventive they are.
He's gonna win.
Okay, that's pretty self-explanatory. All Superman would have to do is just pick Batman up and fly to outer space and leave it there.
Oh. We have a question from Smiley.
Hi, how are you?
She says, I had a dream about a high school reunion, not sure if it was mine, even though I recognized a few people. The class was singing in a choir, then went out as a group and committed suicide because they felt that love and life was too hard. I didn't go with the group. I'm still bothered by this. Any thoughts?
That's pretty
Real
tragic. Oftentimes when we're beginning a new phase in our life, we kind of use school in our dreams, and it represents itself as going back to school. Like when there's something in your life that is changing and it's changing semi-permanent, you'll find yourself in school again. Other things that will happen is that when you are in school, depending on what the school looks like, it's something that is causing you limitation. So you have to see how you're limiting yourself, okay? And I think that's what that's about, is that all of those things that would normally limit you are going to be disappearing. I'm sorry that it came off so tragically, but that's kind of what it's telling you, is that there are a lot of things that have been limitations to you in your past that are the opportunity for you to let them go is coming. Okay, so I hope that helps you. Just be alert and be willing to do new things. Stop limiting yourself so much. I know for a fact that you limit yourself. So this is an opportunity. It's a good thing. It's like my mason jar. Drink water out of it. So I hope that helps you out. What else you got?
We have a question from Rebecca. Can you talk more about the Mars retrograde thing? It'll be out tomorrow.
Mars, when Mars goes retrograde, what it does is it kind of halves your impetus, or it halves your ability to charge through things. When you're building up a lot of energy to break through certain barriers or certain limitations or certain problems that you have, and you can normally handle these things with ease. But when Mars goes retrograde, it takes some of that driving force that you have, and it kind of halves it. It eclipses it. Literally, it eclipses it. It's like you get an opportunity to build up even more force, so that when Mars goes direct again, you have all of that force that you have built that will kind of catapult you ahead in your goals. So even right now, if you can even think of some of the goals that you have in your life that you've had some trouble with, if you keep pushing on them, by the time Mars goes direct, you'll see that you'll get like a second wind, and it will be a little better for you. And for many of you, a lot better that have been actually pushing throughout this time. Mars is also that time where it seems like your vibration is a little lower than it would normally be. So things that wouldn't normally bother you do. You find yourself getting irritable. You find yourself getting vexed for no reason at all. Sometimes it's confusion. Other times it will seem as though you're carrying around a giant weight that would normally be very comfortable for you to handle. And when other people's voices just seem to bother you for no apparent reason at all. Mars is like the irritability factor in your life, so you might say that, but when Mars goes into retrograde, it kind of makes this, it's like the world has PMS. Kind of like that, so you're finally going to get some relief, and I would think that a lot of you would be welcoming that relief. So pay attention and jump on the train and be positive. That's what Mars does. Mars is your seat of creation. It's also your your initiative, your drive. That it's like when you turn your car on. That's what Mars is. Mars is that big bang that we all have. You hear Mars being called the planet of war. I have no idea why they call it the planet of war. Although I will tell you that many times, if Mars does go retrograde, it can spark a war because someone might get really ticked off and say the wrong thing, and then that ticks the other person off, and all of a sudden we have a full-blown war in our hands. And I believe that there have been people that have tried to do exactly that with some of the wild statements and allegations that have been thrown around, and some of the remarkably stupid comments that people have, on things such as Muslims or any race at all. We have a very divisive candidacy that's going for the White House, and I think it's utterly stupid. But let's see if Mars going direct calms it down. Perhaps there would be a wonderful thing that happens, like Donald Trump steps into a black hole, or Hillary all of a sudden gets struck with the remarkable ability to be honest. Like, if I was like God, I would make it so she couldn't lie anymore. Yeah. And all of a sudden they will both disappear and Bernie will be the only one left. Of course, I would make a better president, but just saying. So Mars has to do with your irritability and your inability to get just over that thing that keeps, jumping in your way. But when Mars goes direct, you'll have enough energy for that. So just hang in there. You'll be all right. Hope that helps you. Okay, what else have you got?
Rebecca says, "Oh my, that explains so much. Glad there will be relief from that soon. It's been rough lately.
Yeah.
Thanks."
Yeah. You'll be all right.
And Smiley says, "That makes me feel better. I'm glad it actually is a good thing, even though it woke me up feeling terrified. Thank you."
Yeah.
And she says, "Yes, I'll be very glad to get through this time. I don't like being irritable." Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a question from Michelle. She says, "Wondering what you think of people diagnosed with schizophrenia. Could they be gifted?" Or what you think of people. I understand people do have.
You have to understand that science is very limited in the area of paranormality. Okay, science always puts foot in some place that it doesn't belong, and medical science is even worse. Many times people with schizophrenia are misdiagnosed basically because of an astral experience or an astral attachment. These can be cured if it is in fact an astral attachment. That means that there are two different people that are trying to vie for supremacy in the body, but there's only one person that's supposed to be assigned to that body. When there's an astral attachment, it's like, and an astral attachment could be one or many. Okay, it could be like 1, 2, or 15. It just depends. Eventually, what will happen is the person that the body actually belongs to will gain serenity. Now, how long that takes is contingent on the person's condition, the person's strength, whether or not they do get help, or whether or not they keep going into the astral realm and develop an obsession with that. There are stages to things. You hear possession all the time, but there are actually stages to that. There is the interest and the acquaintance of an entity or an energy, and then there is the actual interest, which becomes an addiction, and then that addiction becomes an obsession, and then that obsession causes over time a limited form of a cohabitation, and then from cohabitation, if it can happen at all, there's a possession. Usually by the time that a person is experiencing a possession, there has been many stages that have already gone on, and nobody around that person understands what is actually happening. When you get a person that is diagnosed as schizophrenic, it may be a multi-personality disorder that they like to separate But usually schizophrenia is more than one actual personality. There's actually more than one person occupying the host body, okay, or the host psyche even. There are many different forms of possession. It isn't always about someone wanting to take over somebody else's body. It could also be someone dealing with someone's psyche or certain aspects of the psyche. So when you get someone that exhibits or what doctors call schizophrenia, that person can just have many different abilities. And all of those abilities be on par with each other so that they're very even. And they'll say, well, that's obviously schizophrenia because you can do this, and this. And usually that person is diagnosed by a doctor that has maybe one ability or maybe no real vision at all. And this person gets misdirected. For instance, because of all of the things that I can do, if someone could have very easily have misdiagnosed me with schizophrenic tendencies, because I can see so many different avenues, and each of those avenues are just as real to me as the other. There are other people out there that get misdiagnosed all the time, just like misdiagnosing a person with ADHD or ADD or ADYD or whatever they like to call it. Adult ADHD, as if it's only something that affects children. It's just a way to drug children up so that they do what you want them to do. But the fact is that there are many children out there, many people that have all of these abilities that see things, that literally do see things. They just don't know what it is that they're seeing, nor do they have the capability of dealing with what it is that they're seeing. And there's no one around, especially in the medical profession, that is willing to deal with them in a mystical manner. Why? Because we live in a society that has said that science is the thing, when science is so ill-equipped to deal with most things. But I have found when I had to deal with an astral attachment and that person exhibited different personalities, I got to speak with each of those personalities and then find out whether or not it's an astral attachment, because most of the times they will tell you. Now, they will. They will tell you. Sometimes what they will do is they'll act in a faux protection of the person that they have taken over or convinced to stay in the background so that they can protect them. But it's not a real protection. What it is they're just protecting their right to be there, and they're protecting their position in being there. Had the person that is the host enough strength, he can very easily oust them by themselves. But because of some traumatic event, remember, schizophrenia usually follows a traumatic event or something that has led the person to believe that they were so traumatized that they couldn't deal with anything. They developed this energy that happens on the inside of them that grows and takes on a life of its own. Now, if there's an astral entity that is actually waiting in the ring, or what do they call it, in the wings somewhere, that is available, and there is some type of an astral connection, that astral energy will actually attach itself to that energy that has taken on a life of its own and live within that person. It's an agreement, if anything. And they will, at some point in time, battle back and forth. And depending upon who is in better condition, that will be the spokesperson. Now, there may be several spokespersons. As a matter of fact, a good example of this, you might, there's a book, and it's a really good book, and I read it when I was much younger, and it was called Sybil. You might read that book, and I know they tried to make a film of it, but it just totally paled in comparison. Just read the book Sybil, and you'll kind of get a picture of what it is I'm talking about. There's a group of people, okay, and these group of people sit around this one host person. If I could just draw a picture of it. Sit around this one host person and talk to this host person all the time, but they're talking to this host person isn't trying to defeat that host person, it's trying to exist. So they're all trying to exist at the same time, right? And the only way that they can exist is by alienating this host person from everybody on the outside. Because if there's a connection with someone on the outside and that connection to that person grows strong, then the others will be alienated. They will not receive any more energy. Therefore, they cannot stay connected, and they will dissipate. They will go back to whence they come. So it suits them to make the host person believe that they are protecting it, or telling it, you really can't handle this, so why don't you let me do it? I will do it for you. Okay? And you be comfortable, we will not let them hurt you. And the other one says, no, we won't let them hurt you. And each of these has a different personality because they are each different people. Do you understand? These are astral beings that did not move on, and they do not want to. So they want to stay here, and they will find a way to stay here any way that they possibly can. They will convince anyone to stay here. Okay? They will find someone to attach to. It just happened to be that person, and that person had enough hurt in them that they were willing to allow this huge hedge of astral energy and astral entities to stand in front of them so that they could not be hurt again.
Like a defense shield.
Yeah, like a defense shield. And they convince them all the time, listen, you can't handle this. Why don't you just let me do it? I can handle it for you. It will be all right.
Yeah.
And the person says, okay, I just don't want to be hurt anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what that is. That's what that is. That is what schizophrenia is. Okay? And they can mislabel it all they want to, because they're going to do that, because anything to sell medication, they're going to do. Anything to make you stay so that they can make more money off of you, that's what they're going to do. Okay? Now, keep in mind, I'm not speaking about every doctor, okay? Because there are some very honorable and respectable and beautiful doctors out there, and I've met some. But remember, medical science gets a hold of you, 9 times out of 10, it wants to make you a guinea pig for something else. And the guinea pig thing is never about you, okay? So understand that being the paranormalist that I am, my studies are extensive. Being a telepath made my studies even more extensive. I have seen and talked to folks that you would not believe. This is why these different entities, remember, there is no time or space where they are, so they can be anything at any time, anywhere in the spiritual realm. And that's just the truth. Whenever you hear the word spiritual realm, people always say, oh, it's the spiritual and the light and the light and the light. And you know what? It's also the darkness. I just need to tell you that. This is the thing about spiritual. Spirituality is a whole. That means that it includes both dark and light. And you have to be aware of both of them. No matter what you do, there is always a left. There is always a right. There is always an up. There is always a down. There is always an in, and there is always an out. And you need to understand that. Okay? It's imperative that we understand that. So, understand that when someone says divine, and this is what we do, we throw words around like divine, and saying that divine or divinity is all about positivity. Well, divinity is also about negative, because yes, God is divine. The goddess is divine, but so is Satan. They are still divine. There's divine good. There's divine evil. It's just that way, So we need to really start spiritually growing up and growing in and growing out simultaneously. So schizophrenia, what they call schizophrenia, is just an excuse for them not exploring further, finding out what this person has really got going on. Okay, many times it can be many different gifts. That's not schizophrenia. That is the whole. And that person may develop several personalities in order to deal with those spiritual gifts. That has potentiality of schizophrenia. But if the person is grounded and that person stays grounded, it will merely be like using a spoon, a knife, a fork, a glass, a plate, a bowl. They're all tools that are extensions of that one being, not that one being being the extension of the tools. Do you understand? So And that's something you can go on forever. It's kind of like any of the other topics, because I told you my studies are so extensive in the things that I've dealt with. I could keep you on one subject for a month. But in the interest of moving on, I hope that helps you. What is the next question? That was a good question, though.
Rebecca says, why do they want to stay here? This place is so difficult and hard to be in. Why do they strive to be here?
Unfinished business. Other times they're mad. Other times they just liked it here. It's not bad for everyone. I mean, life can be what you make it. We all go through bad things. We go through good things as well. Maybe they were looking for someone, or maybe they lost someone, or maybe they just didn't finish doing what they wanted to do. You know, there are millions of different reasons. It's the same as asking a person, why do you like chocolate? You know, or I like money.
I like
You know, so it comes down to that person's own personal stance. I know that in many of the books they tell you that the moment that a person dies, their personality disappears and so does their mind, but it is so not true. It is not true. I don't care what text you're reading, it is not the truth. They only lose their bodies and they have an opportunity to let go. It's an opportunity. Doesn't mean that everyone takes the opportunity. Maybe it's just hard for them to let go and they're not ready. Or maybe it's someone that's there that won't let them go. You gotta have some compassion for them. True, life can be hard for us here. But your life hasn't always been hard. Not always. There are people that are way worse off than you that love it here. And you have to remember that. It's not the world that's ugly. It's the people that occupy the world that can be ugly. Just a thought. What else have you got?
Shayna says that she loves your mason jar. Down south, they drink out of it too.
It was the one I found that could hold the most water.
She says we all drink out of them here in the south.
Awesome.
Who's that?
Yeah, Lane, come here, baby. I know. Okay, anything else?
Nope.
Hey, you guys are really quiet. Is it really hot where you all are? Is the heat bothering you guys, or are you just kind of tired and it's like Tuesday and you don't want to do anything, or you know? I mean, I'm glad that you all like my pretty face because I'm pretty, you know. But if you want to know some things, ask the questions.
I want to know some things.
So who?
It's really hot in here.
So who is actually there that I can talk to?
Sonari's there.
Hello.
That I'm talking to.
I know she's there.
Shayna's there.
I know Shayna's there. I just talked to her. Tamara's there.
Michelle, Rebecca, Lucia. Well, Lucia hasn't said anything.
Hey, Lucia. Being kind of quiet tonight. Is it hot where you are?
That's about it.
Awesome. See, I need to get my Rocker Room magic mirror and bring it out sometimes.
No.
You know, it would be very wonderful if you all told your friends about the show. And then I had tons of questions to answer.
Well, Lucia says, love you guys. I don't have the time to ask the questions tonight, but thank you.
No problem. No problem at all. You're doing a pretty good job. You're doing a good job. Keep growing. Keep going.
Yeah, I was listening to him and Shayna reading, bouncing off of each other and doing readings for people. That was kind of neat.
Yeah.
That was kind of fun. They were both picking up similar things, but different ways.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun.
Yeah, I got to show them that I could actually see people from halfway around the world.
You freaked that
It's
guy.
funny,
You freaked him out.
It's funny that nobody ever believes me.
Well, wait, what were you I heard the later end.
I was
he
listening to an exercise that Lucia was taking them through last night, and I knew what he was going to say because I could hear him. I could hear everybody's thoughts there, so I just tuned in and said, "Well, let me just do this," and I wrote something. Shayna got it, and she waited for him to say what he was going to say, and then she started laughing and told me. It was funny.
Lucia says, I have a meeting with some friends and gotta stop by the ATM first. Okay, have fun.
Awesome. Have fun. Be safe.
Wesley says, hello from Portugal. Wow, you're in Portugal now. Weren't you
Wow.
in Germany?
Who says that?
Vasu.
Hey, Vasu, how you doing?
Portugal.
When are you going to come to America?
Ooh, why would you want to come to America?
That's not funny. Our country is great, in spite of people who think they want to make it great again.
Vasu has a question. She says, what do you think about mirror magic?
I think that mirror magic is very valid, and I teach mirror magic, and I've been teaching quasi mirror magic, and you just have to be careful with it because your mirror is not only a shield, it's also a portal. You just have to, it depends on what it is that you need to come through that mirror. Okay. And it's actually a hardcore portal. So you really have to have to look at, you have to be careful with what you're doing with mirror magic. Don't just take it up because someone decided it would be really cool because they wanted to add it to their tribal dance and thing. You know, just you know, just really, if you're going to study mirror magic, be careful because you can pull something through that mirror that you may or may not want to be there. Okay. Set up your shields, and if you need classes on that, I teach that. And if you need advice on what to do, I will give that too. For those of you that are interested, again, in classes, you can give me a call or contact me at www.unicorn-cove.com, or you can give us a call at area code 207-347-5686 if you really are interested in classes.
Vasu says, yep, for a small holiday, it's super duper hot here. She's in Portugal for a holiday.
Yeah, I have a friend in Portugal. Mm-hmm. Her name is Juliana Machado. And, you know, if I wrote to her and told her that you're in Portugal, she would entertain you.
Yeah. We have questions about mirror magic. Rebecca says, what is mirror magic? I avoid mirrors. They make me feel uneasy. And Mirror says, how does it work as a portal? Okay.
Mirror magic is the art of using a mirror for manifestation or shielding or protection or change. You can actually change your appearance or certain things about you using mirror magic. You can also bring certain things to you from the other side or from a dimensional you using mirror magic. Mirror magic can be used for either light or dark magic. It's just a mirror. So there's no light mirror, there's no dark mirror. It's just a mirror. In fact, there have been fairy tales about mirrors that the person could use the mirror to glamorize or beautify themselves, or use that mirror to de-glamorize or de-beautify somebody else. It just depends. If you look at many of the cartoons that were done, many of the stories, they're actually very steeped in the occult. Like, there's one of the most famous stories that there is Through the Looking Glass, and that's what a mirror was called, a looking glass. There's also the story of, what's that vain guy? I don't know why I can't remember him.
Who?
Oedipus? No, the vain guy. The one who fell into the water. Not Oedipus. Well, I know the story, and his name's not important. But, and I'll think of it later, like at 3 o'clock in the morning.
No,
but,
I'm looking it up right now.
Narcissus, yeah.
I was like, he's named, there's a Smurf named after him. What was that Smurf's name? Bane Smurf? No, his name was Narcissus. Wasn't it? Yeah. No. The Smurf that looked in the
Narcissus. But it's Narcissus. There's Alice in Wonderland, okay, which is kind of a adaptation of Through the Looking Glass, you know, so.
Vanity. Ha!
Vanity.
His name was Vanity.
Yeah. Understand that mirror magic can be used to manifest certain things into your life, manifest certain things into your home. There are some things that mirror magic can be used for that I would rather not tell you because someone might try it and then you wind up bringing an ungodly beast into your existence. But yeah, you can actually get rid of some blemishes and some things using mirror magic. You can even cause hair growth, or you can even cause body sculpting by using mirror magic. And if people understood that, they would probably use it a lot more. The problem is people lack discipline. We in America are very, very prone to quick fixes in life. And unfortunately, quick fixes are not safe. So mirror magic is the art of manifestation using a mirror, and the art of protection using a mirror. Art of buffering, art of pulling, art of pushing. You can use a mirror to turn dark magic away too, and that's fun. That's a lot of fun. You can use mirror bits. I can tell you right now the cure to, you hear the 7 years bad luck thing. Well, it's not really 7 years, and it's not really bad luck. It's more like bad fortune. But your image has to be in the mirror that got broken. And if your image was in the mirror that got broken and you happen to see your image in the mirror that got broken, then you have to do something about it right away. What you have to do about it right away is you have to turn the mirror over. No, I would rather teach that to you. So if you really want to know about that, you'll have to take some classes so that you just don't go off and do stuff. Just understand this. There's a cure to that bad luck thing. There is a cure to it. And it's using mirror magic. Mirror and candles, yes.
Michelle says, I have things to ask, but I will wait for class.
Okay.
Smiley says, I have heard of obsidian mirrors.
Yes, they are obsidian, and the only reason they are mirrors is because they were polished to reflective quality. Even if you didn't polish it to cause a reflection, it would still have the same quality. Obsidian is something that is an absorber, but it will absorb a lot of things. It's also a buffer. And if you're going to turn it into a mirror, understand this. It will have the same quality as any mirror. People like to do things like, I have a golden mirror, but you can take a simple mirror and it will do the same thing as your most expensive mirror. However, depending on what you use, the conductibility of it may be in question. So if you had something that was a gold mirror, that may cause more of a conductivity. Same with silver and platinum mirror. My goodness, that would cause a whole lot of conductivity. That's probably what they use in time travel or teleportation. There has to be some form of platinum because platinum is highly conductive. Because they use it in catalytic converters, or they did use it in catalytic converters. I don't even think they make them anymore, but they could use platinum because I think the thing that is more conductive than platinum would be the next stage up, and that would cause some form of radioactivity, which would probably be a cheap form of uranium. So,
okay.
Yeah. So anyway,
Rebecca says,
I'm just saying, it's used for manifestation.
Rebecca
If
says,
you really want to know, then take some of my classes. I'll teach you.
Okay. Rebecca says, for the third time, funny, I'm all about Alice through the looking glass. I have a tattoo of a mirror with Alice back to, she says, haha, it's always been my favorite story, yet I'm creeped out by mirrors. That's funny. Well,
mirrors, things can come through mirrors. Sometimes someone has used a mirror for something else and it can come through. It really can. It's no joke. So just thought you'd like to know that. What else have you got for me, dear?
That's all I have. It's 7:59.
That's nice. Are there any other questions that I might answer for you this evening?
Tell me it's too hot.
It's not too hot. It is warm enough.
How hot is it in Virginia? That's fine.
Shannon can tell you, she's right there in that little bitty cavern.
79 degrees.
That's not hot.
Humidity 73%.
Oh,
Ah!
okay, that's bad.
Humidity.
Okay, so remember, if you have questions about anything, I'd be more than willing to answer them for you. For those of you that need a reading, you can contact me at Unicorn Cove, and I will be happy to give you a reading, a telepathic reading, or telepathic counseling to map out what it is you need to do in your life to make it better for you. For those of you that seek paranormal training or development, psychic development, you can give us a call, and I will help you with that as well. However, this is what you need to do. In order for me to teach you, you have to be willing to teach other people eventually, because I teach teachers. I do not teach people that just want to do it because they want to entertain their friends. If you're going to do something in the service of the universe, I'm very interested in teaching you how to use your ability. If you're having problems in your life because of your abilities, it's because they are undisciplined, and they are just like any other animal that you do not discipline. They will overrun you. Okay? Stalling, finding reasons not to do it, thinking that you are going to learn from a book, reading airy-fairy quotations and philosophies that say, oh, you can do it yourself. They are lies. Do you understand? They are lying to you. To take lessons in psychic development is the same as taking a lesson in any course that you decide to study in a mundane university. It is just as important, it is just as valid, and it will help you in your life. However, if you know some things and you have some gifts, yet you cannot function on a material, a physical, mental, or spiritual level equally, then your ability is doing not you or anyone else any good, and you need to discipline it. You must learn how to use it practically so that you can use it in practical application to your life and the life of others. Okay? Make no bones about it. Don't have any fantasies or any illusions. I don't care how many quotations you read on Facebook. You need to have someone show you how to use it. Okay? Just as I did. And if you have to pay for that, you have to pay for it. Period. So you pay for it, you get done what needs to be done. Because I do not teach for free. I did that for a long time.
Vasa says, it's very hot, especially in the sun, but it's really humid here in Portugal. And she says, have you had a scary experience with a mirror? The mirror?
Yeah, I've had to destroy them several times. On purpose, I destroyed them because they had a dark energy to them and they were haunting the whole house. I don't get scary experiences, not since I was a kid. But I walked past and saw things in the mirror and said, oh my goodness, you gotta be kidding me. I've dealt with people that played the Bloody Mary game, and all of a sudden things started following them around. Well, it wasn't necessarily Bloody Mary, but it was something that posed as Bloody Mary. It's the same as using a Ouija board. You need to understand that. You mess around with mirror magic, you need to understand that it could be just as volatile as a Ouija board if you screw around with it. It's not the same because you're not really using it to contact anybody. If you are, then I suggest that you stop immediately and get rid of that mirror. Don't go give it to someone else. Okay? It needs to be destroyed. We had someone that brought a mirror by to give it to one of the employees at the bakery, and I told her, I don't think it's a good idea for you to take that. But she did anyway. And she wound up getting in a lot of trouble. And, you got to listen. I didn't just learn to do what I do. I've been doing what I do for a long time, longer than some of you have been around. Okay? I didn't just all of a sudden get good at this. So if I'm telling you something, it's the truth, and I have experience to back it up. I've had to deal with entities that came through a mirror and sent them back and then destroyed the mirror so they couldn't make it out again. Utterly destroyed it.
Michelle says, mirrors are safe though, right? I've told you about the one in my bathroom.
Yes, mirrors are very safe. For those of you that are unsure, what you can do is you can take ammonia and water and wash your mirror with, and it will destroy any vibration that is there. Just try not to do things like standing and going, Bloody Mary. Because people do it all the time, or Beetlejuice or whatever.
Beetlejuice. That's a good one. I should try that one. No, wait, no, I shouldn't try that one. I don't know.
Mirror magic is a very specific art, just like candle magic. Like Shayna practices candle magic, and she's good at what she does.
Oh, yeah.
But just like Shayna, I'm not going to sit around and tell someone, "Oh yeah, you can do candle magic. It's fun. It's lively. It's this and that," because it can be very dangerous. You could hurt yourself, and you can hurt other people. Magic is not to be toyed with. Great. Like watching the magic shows like David Blaine and so forth. David Blaine has something entirely different going on. There's that one guy who's a has-been, what's his name? The old guy that goes around challenging people and telling me, "I'll give you $1 million if you can prove to me that you're psychic."
I don't even know if that's
He's still around.
Anyways.
Anyway. So, another thing, for those of you that have gifts, please do not do parlor tricks. Don't go trying to prove to anybody that you have a gift. Don't let them back you into a corner of making you prove that you have a gift, like trying to guess what is in their pocket, or guessing what's in an envelope, or guessing what letter that they have in their head. If they project it at you and you feel like doing that, although you shouldn't, that's fine. Okay, but if you want to sharpen your skills, you go ahead and do that, but keep the answer to yourself. Okay, it's a lot better that way. Don't let someone lure you into saying, "Well, can you tell me what my mother was thinking last Thursday night?" Because that's ridiculous. Mystical people get themselves in all kinds of trouble just by not using that one powerful mystical word, no. So I just thought I'd tell you that. Anyway, thank you all for joining us on the show this evening. The show is Ask the Unicorn. I'm Ahura Z, and this is Nirakazi. And we're here every Tuesday night to answer any questions that you might have on the metaphysical, the spiritual, paranormal, or the mystical. Tell your friends about the show, and come and join us. Remember, write your questions down. If there's a specific topic that you would like to hear me speak on, let me know. So, until next week, I'm Ahura Z for Ask the Unicorn. Have a beautiful week, okay? Love each other. Be good to each other. Have a good time. Unicorn out.